Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Well, today I want to take quite a knotty subject, and in that process, we're going to go back to school. But first, I want to just give you the framework for this. I've spent nearly 30 years in human design, looking at the knowledge, reading charts, going deeper and deeper into the knowledge. And you can perceive the stages that people go through. They're going through in coming back to themselves through the knowledge, through the recognition of the truth, because one does recognize it. And human design has this incredible capacity to show you who you are and who you're not. But it's not just a game. It's not just an intellectual exercise. It's not a system to make you feel good about yourself in this way or that way, or bad about yourself in this way or that way, or project into the future where everything's going to be okay. It's not a delusion science. It's a very real science, and it's lived in the down and dirty, day-to-day, moment-to-moment living of one's life, and that's really what it's about. And the most important thing in human design, even at the simplest level, is the strategy and authority, coming back to your own inner authority. And that's why we have to go back to school, not to learn from what we learned at school, but to see what happened when we were at school. When I think about the schooling system and I think about the exam period, all the pressure to cram, to understand, knowing you're going to be tested by an outer authority. And all us kids running in there and, or not running in, kind of dragging our feet, getting into and sit at the table, and it's silent. It's silent. There's a lot of people in human design who need acoustic information, who need noise in order to operate properly. And it's silent. Because we're all different, to put people into a particular environment as if we were all the same, it doesn't work. It gives an unfair advantage in the exams. For example, for those who have memory gates in the 44 or the 33, it gives an advantage to some of the fixed agenars because they can retain information. I hated exams. I was top of the class during the year, but when it came to exams, it was like, oh no, this is horrible. Trying to make sense of what they wanted in the question, because the questions were not clear, at least for me. Anyway, I did manage to get through it all, and I went through that training. And I went through that imposed discipline, and I took the outer authority to have authority over me because I thought I wanted to get somewhere according to the conventional ways. Not anymore, not for a very, very, very long time. But I want you to think about it in a human design context now. Think about how the very process of homogenization during our education screwed up a lot of people forever. I mean, until they find human design and come back to who they are and realize what's going on and make the correct decisions. When you think about inner authority and you think about outer authority, think about what happened at school. We're kids, we're looking up, teach us something, tell us something, and there are those above us, the adults, the teachers. And some of the teachers are very good. I'm very grateful to a few really key ones in my life, and some of them were bloody awful, but they are in authority and you have to obey them because they are teachers. And this follows through into the workplace, where the boss will tell us what to do. We get trained in taking orders. We get trained in letting go of our responsibility for our own lives. And now when you think about human design and you think about what is colored in the chart, what is fixed in the chart as being you, as being that side of your design that is consistent. And then you think about the white, that you can be drawn into the conditioning, the open throat always trying to get attention, the open solar plex, you know, always backing down in front of strong emotional authority, avoiding conflict because you don't want to rock the boat. And if you think about the open route, always in a hurry to get somewhere, you know, always leaving half of them behind at home while they're rushing because of the emergency they've created by not getting things sorted. So we get weakened by living in the not self. We get weakened because what's in us, the openness that is in us, is undermining our inner authority. So half of the population are emotional. You know, they go through a feeling process in making their decisions. It's very important that they do. They can't get to the clarity of what's really true for them until they feel into it. But they're taught to follow orders. They're taught to, well, you've got to do it now. They're taught to, well, this is the deadline. You've got to do it by then, whether you're ready or not, whether you like it or not. So there is this ongoing conditioning, both from the amplification of the issues in the white centers in you. There is a built-in training in obedience going through the educational system. You know, if you go all the way through to university and then to more things and more things, you get really programmed into thinking in the particular way that is acceptable to the current attitudes, to the current administration. So when I say human design isn't a philosophy, it isn't a spiritual tradition, it is something that is an indicate, a mechanical truth that you need to pay attention to. And I mean that every day. I mean that this isn't something like, oh, you know, I'm this, you know, I'm a Capricorn, you know, I'm a 1-3, you know, whatever it may be that we identify with, because it makes us feel good that we're something, because quite frankly, a lot of people don't know who the hell they are. And it's not about repeating the words of the masters. And it's not about learning skills to impress your friends. It's about the living of the life. And I'm making this quite a strong video because of something that happened yesterday. I had an email from my dentist telling me that I had to fill out a medical form in order to go and see them, according to CDA something or other, into some kind of official body. And due to the training that the dentist had had for emergencies, should something happen in the surgery, they needed my full medical history. They needed all kinds of different things. And I said, no, this has nothing to do with you cleaning my teeth. You know, it's like orders from above, like soldiers following orders. Someone makes a decision, it's passed down, and it's like, okay, we've got to do it because they say. And I said, I'm not doing that, you know. And I looked into this organization, of which 57% of dentists are associated with, have joined up, have paid the fees, have followed the training, you know, 57%. And when you look into them, the director, it comes from counterterrorism. The executives are 2 solicitors, someone who comes from retail marketing, someone who's an accountant. I mean, none of them have anything to do with dentistry. They have everything to do with making money through assumed authority, assumed outer authority, that the official professionals go, okay, we've got to follow that. Well, human design isn't about that. Human design is about, if you get in my case, it was a strong response to get the hell out of my life. You know, what is all this about? And got me to dig deeper. But it's happening everywhere. And there is, as I mentioned in a previous video, there are so many now compliance rules just to do everyday work, basically. And it's getting more and more. So, I mean, this is why I love manifestors, because any hint of someone trying to control them, they get angry, you know, and I go, yes, you know, we need that kind of spirit. We need the manifestors, you know, they will alert us to that because they certainly don't like it. It's about coming back to really following what is true inside you, which will alert you to the outer authorities who are not to be trusted, the outer authorities who have no authority over you. Nobody should have authority over you. You have your own inner authority. You know, if you're a splenic person and you suddenly go on alert, listen to it. I don't care what your mind says, and you shouldn't care what your mind says. Follow the body, follow the inner authority, which is beneath all the conceptualization, beneath all the blah, blah, rationalizations, justifications. It's about coming back to that. It's very important that we do. This isn't a game. It's going to be more difficult, from my experience, for fixed ajnas to let go of the multiple layers of conditioning that has come through the educational system and through society generally as it stands today. It's more difficult. I'm meeting more and more young people who haven't been through a strong educational background. And they're very smart. You know, they're very smart. Some of them are very smart, not all of them, but some of them are very smart. And I'm going, yeah, you know, this is the fish that got away. And human design is there for us to be the fish that get away, for us to be free by making decisions based on inner authority. And yes, there will be consequences. You know, I might have to find a new dentist, but hey, I've got a holistic one in Glastonbury I shall pursue. You know, there will be other ways. There are always other ways that turn up. You know, in making correct decisions, don't worry about the consequences. If it's correct for you, the road then opens up into something you never dreamt about. You could never see because you were following the restrictions, the constraints of what you thought you should follow or whatever it may be. So when we talk about following your own strategy and authority, and we talk about resistance getting less in the life because you are making correct decisions for you, think about the necessity to resist the outer authorities that want to impinge more on you. We have to come back. So this is something really to consider and to act upon and to experiment with. It's not a minor thing. This outer authority versus inner authority. Now, I'm very happy to listen to outer authority. If I want to know something and I've got an expert in front of me, hey, I'm all ears. Thank you very much. Doesn't mean I'm going to believe everything they say, but if they make sense to me, it'll be like, thank you very much. But someone who puts on a uniform, or someone that puts on a tie or puts on whatever it is that makes them look like they're an authority, doesn't move me in the least. You know, I've dealt with people from all levels of society in many different countries, and I am not impressed by any of that. I'm impressed by the person. I'm impressed by the truth they speak or not, the kindness they give or not, you know, the nature of the person. That's what impresses me, especially if they're in the flow of truth. So many aren't. So this video is really just a strong oomph to say, come back to inner authority, sharpen up now, be aware of what's going on. You know, we want to get free. We want to get free inside, but we also want to live a free life. There's a word I want to pass on to you, which I learned recently. Some of you may know it. I didn't know it. It's called looshing. looshing, where one's life force is siphoned away and you don't realize it. And this seems to me going on a lot at the moment, not only through the Wi-Fi, but also through the way society is changing, the way those who are supposed to be in authority above us in terms of running the country or whatever it may be, they don't have any right to tell you to go against your own nature. It's something that we all have to come to. You know, the freedom has to be fought for. The freedom has to, you have to do your inner work. You have to work with your inner authority to the best of your ability. It gets easier. It gets easier. But it's difficult to begin with because of all the conditioning. It takes time, but you need to be at it. This becomes more and more primary as we move into the shift from the cross of planning into the sleeping phoenix. Human design was brought into the world when it was for the times that we're in, the times of the wolves and the sheep. And it's something to really consider. You have many tools in human design to help you. Oh, and it's important that they are used. Inner authority is the primary thing. No matter how you may perceive yourself as a design in human design, it is the inner authority that is the primary thing, because that's what makes all the difference in transforming the life and opening us up to something we never even dreamed of. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye for now.